Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to welcome you all in our today's presentation about atoms, elements, compounds, and ion. So this lesson is specially made for my M1 student. If you are free, you can join and interact with me in our virtual learning. Let's get started. So this presentation again, once again, is about atoms, elements, compounds, and ions. So let's have a basic definition of what an atom is. So basically, it's a building block of all matter, everything that you can see around us, whether it's a chair, it's a table, it's a glass, everything. They are all made up of atom, okay? Because this is the basic building block of all matter. What is an element? A substance that consists of only one type of atom or molecule has two different atoms. Okay, that's an element. Or if you are using your periodic table, everything in there is uh, or tells you about element. Okay, what is a compound? Substance that consists of more than one type of element. When you put them together, it forms compound. Okay, as simple as that. How about an ion? Ion, they are the substance that has positive or negative charge. So let's talk about the atom or atoms first. So atoms have a nucleus. All right. So in this picture, you can be able to see the black is the nucleus. Okay. And what's inside the nucleus? The nucleus contains the protons and the neutrons. All right. Small, heavy parts of an atom. Okay. It also has or have the electron cloud. So the blue color is the electron cloud. This is the large lightweight part of an atom where the electrons are moving around. Let's talk about that later on. Okay, so once again, this is the atom, and atom has the nucleus and electron clouds. Okay, so nucleus, electron clouds. Nucleus. Let's talk about the nucleus here. All right, like what I said a while ago, um, uh, the nucleus contains the protons, okay, and as you can see, they are positive charge. All right, and positive charge. All atoms are distinguished by the number of protons it has, and that determines the atomic model or the atomic number. Okay, so if it is or it has two protons, so most likely this is helium. If it is one proton, that's hydrogen. Okay, that gives you a little bit about the idea in chemistry. Okay, let's talk about neutron. Neutron has no charge; they're neutral. Okay, and have same mass as protons. So you can find this inside the nucleus. All right, nucleus. If you watch in my other video about how did they, how did scientists discover this and who did discover this, you will find it out in our atomic model or especially the timeline. Okay, so these are all the subatomic particles. Okay, specifically what's inside the nucleus. What's inside again? Protons and neutrons. Now let's talk about electron cloud. Okay, in this picture you'll be able to see the electron, and it has an orbit. Okay, this is the direction of the electrons and how electrons move. Okay, so the electrons are moving around here in an electron cloud. There's no charge or negative charge, sorry, they are negative charge, okay, are contained within shells of the electron cloud. It orbits the nucleus of an atom. So if this is the nucleus, it orbits, it moves around the nucleus. Have a very small mass compared to protons and neutrons. So this is very, very small. Okay, and the electron cloud actually is the formation of how the electrons are moving in a certain patterns. You will learn that later on in your higher chemistry subject. All right. So, but for now, I would like you to understand that electrons are moving around its orbit like this around the nucleus. They determine bonding properties of the substances. Okay, and what makes them react with other substances? It's because of the electron. They form compounds. It's because of that electron. Okay. Another example of the atomic or the atom structure. So basically, what you can see here are the protons. Okay, and they are of positive charge. Neutron has no charge. Electron is negatively charged particles. These are all the subatomic particles. Okay, inside the atom. Now let's talk about the elements. If you are using the periodic table of elements, you can be able to know all the chemical elements, the symbols, and a lot of information. So let's say, for example, that we have here hydrogen atom. Okay, hydrogen atom has one proton, and it has one electron. Carbon has 6 protons, most likely 6 neutrons as well. Okay, and so on and so forth. Like oxygen has 8 protons, copper has 29 protons, gold has 79 protons. All these are determined or arranged in the periodic table. Okay. Now let's talk about compounds. We know that when the elements react with another elements, they form compounds. Okay, so compounds contain more than one type of atom. Example, organic compounds, compounds that contains carbon atom. Let's take, for example, carbon dioxide, CO2. We already know the CO2, right? We produce CO2. This is a kind of gas that a plant needs to produce food. So CO2 is composed of elements of carbon and oxygen. Okay, so that means the carbon and oxygen reacts together to form carbon dioxide. So it's a compound already of carbon and oxygen. Another example is an inorganic compounds. Okay, a compound with no carbon atom. For example, H2O, water. Again, another element, another compound that is importantly needed by the plants to produce their own food. So H2O, so that means there are 2 moles of hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, so they react to form water. That's compounds. Okay, can you name other compounds too? Okay, now let's talk about ion in here. When we talk about ions, ions are, or an ion is an atom or group of atoms with positive or negative charge. Okay, let's talk about this one. A particle with a neutral charge has the same number of protons and electrons, but an ion does not have the same number of electrons and protons. So for example, helium, okay, a helium atom that is missing 1 electron makes it helium ion, okay, or we say when once it is positive we call it cation ion, If it is negative, we call it anion. Another example is carbonate. Carbonate has 2 more electrons than protons. So that means this here is an ion, okay? An ion. So when a compound or element has a positive charge or negative charge in it, okay? That's what we call ion. But ions are has the same two types: cation ion and anion, positive charge ion and negative charge. All right. Now let's have ion dating game. So supposing that you are looking at your periodic table and you see a rectangle like this, okay, it has number 2 in it. What do you think is this number 2? Okay, so this number 2 here refers to the number of protons. It tells what element it is. What do you think is this one? If you're looking at the periodic table, what do you think? It has 2 protons. You're right. This is helium. Oops, did I say helium? Right, because He is helium, the kind of gas that you put into your balloon. Okay, so this is the chemical symbol, and that explains the name of the element as well. So 4 right here is the, what do you think is 4? 4 is, or explains the total atomic weight. Remember, it has protons and neutrons, okay? So thank you very much for listening today and paying attention to my lesson. And I hope to see you again in our future videos. Bye, everyone.